Building the Metaverse using modern Web3 tools.
Okay guys, welcome to this speech about Metaverse development, and how dApps are built within the Metaverse, and also why it's important. We're gonna start with that. My name is Ivan. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Moralis, which is a Web3 infrastructure company where we help developers, projects to launch applications within the Metaverse and all other crypto niches. And we started last year. We've grown very quickly. The biggest dApps, applications, marketplaces use us, for example, MetaMask. And I'm here to share more about how to get started within the Metaverse development, what's needed, and so on and so forth. So I hope you like that. So first and foremost, why should we care? Obviously, with new technologies, there is a lot of opportunity, and the Metaverse is $1 trillion opportunity. If you just think about how much time we're spending on our phones and how much time our kids are spending on their phones, which is maybe 5 times more, you see that the trend is that we are living more and more in the digital world, and the physical world is still very important, but at the same time, maybe it is as important as our digital world. We really have to ask ourselves, how will this ratio develop? Will our online identities, friends, circles, assets, will they be more or less important as in the physical world? And in some cases, if you think about where you live, and if you meet your neighbors a lot, and if you meet people on the street a lot, and then you compare that, how much time you spend meeting your online friends, and especially in crypto, where we're so much online, and less so offline. And the key here is that we don't want big tech to take 50% of all transactions. And this is the plan of Meta. This is the plan of everyone who is building Metaverse from the big tech perspective. Because of course it's very appealing if this is the next platform after the mobile phone, after the smartphone. And this is even more important because now it's fully immersed, where you really capture the user's attention and eyes. You can measure so much. So this is a very important thing. So we have to act, because the only thing that can ensure that Metaverse is decentralized, where your assets in the Metaverse are because right now we don't have ownership online. Without Web3, there is no ownership. You just rent stuff. You get permission to be someone until you're the platform, or you have permission to own something until a few people decide that you cannot own it anymore. So this is the big problem, that if it is the case that we're going to be spending more and more time online, more and more time in digital world, and our kids are going to be spending that even more, it's very important that we ensure digital property rights, and that's why Web3 exists, and that's why Metaverse cannot become big without Web3, because if it does, we're going to live in a dystopian future. So this is really where my mission is, and the mission of our team is, to ensure that whatever the next big tech frontier is, it has digital ownership built in. And how do we do that? We do that with Web3. And so when you're building a Metaverse application, you got to think about the stack, the technological stack. And you can see it on the screen. So first and foremost, you have the on-chain logic. This is the smart contracts, the assets, the currencies, and we can all program them. So that's the best thing with Web3. We can all program money. So that's the base layer of Web3 Metaverse. Next, you have off-chain. So off-chain is where you actually need to take the data from the blockchain and do something with it. So, for example, when you look at OpenSea, your assets are on-chain, your NFTs are on-chain, but when you trade on OpenSea, when you list assets or you do different things, there's a lot of logic off-chain in their server in order to make it gasless. Because otherwise, each time you make a bid, you will have to pay gas. But there are many things we can do in order to improve the user experience by taking a bit of a logic off-chain. And it's very important. And it doesn't compromise decentralization, because still all assets are on-chain. But that's another important part of the tech stack. If you're thinking about building an application, or if you are a developer, you need to know on-chain, off-chain. And finally, it's about the UI and the UX. So on top of that, it is UI and the UX that needs to work. And here are some technologies on the screen that you can see that fill the different gaps. So in smart contracts, of course, that's on-chain logic. You build it on Ethereum, on Polygon, on Solana, and there you use technologies such as Solidity or Rust, in order to do it. Then off-chain, there we're speaking about backend technologies, traditional backend such as Node.js or .NET, and this is how you read data from smart contracts and from whatever users are doing, and you can make the user experience better by adding off-chain. I mean, a good example where you need off-chain is all the indexing that is needed. So let's say you have different users that are doing different things on the blockchain with your application. How do you calculate statistics? How do you calculate things based on their activities? You gotta have some backend for that. And finally, you have the front end, and front end can be a website, iOS application, Android application. So it's also technologies that are present in Web 2. So when it comes to the Metaverse stack, the smart contracts are new, but backend and front end are exactly like they were in the past. So that's why if you have a team which knows Web 2, or if you yourself are a developer that knows Web 2, you can really use your knowledge to a very big extent within Web 3 and within the Metaverse. And of course, another big part of the front end are the game engines. So whether it is Unity or Unreal, it is going to be the front end, and it is already used as front end for the Metaverse. And another big question, of course, what is the Metaverse? How do we define it? And at the end of the day, it's a collection of terms. It's a collection of ideas. No one really can define it, but you got to look at the trend. The trend is that we are living more and more digitally. We are spending more and more time online. And to me, at least, the Metaverse is whatever shape that takes. Is it VR? Is it some kind of AR glasses? We're going to see. But the thing is, the trend is more digital, and whatever the form factor will be, it is important that we have digital ownership when it happens. And the workflow, in order to connect all of this, is that you need to hire someone, or you need to yourself to build first smart contracts, then you need to hire someone to do the backend. So, for example, reading from the blockchain, but also things such as logging in users. So when someone logs in on your website, how do you create a web session? So you can store some data off-chain about the user. Next, you get to sync data from the blockchain. So whenever something happens on chain, how do you let your users know? Maybe you send a push notification, maybe you send some email. That's important. And finally, you got to connect it to the front end. So just to get started, these are the three different parts of the tech stack to think of. And there are a lot of things to do just on the back end. And here is really where we come in with our tech stack, because we help developers to make these connections easier. I mean, if you want to do simple things, such, for example, log in the user and get all their assets in real time, it's a lot. At the end of the day, you may need 10 devs just to do that. And you just wanted to build the app, but you got to run pipelines, you got to run all of this data processing in order to inform your users about what's going on, or in order to run calculations and scripts based on user data. It becomes very, very difficult very, very quickly. And this is where our tech stack comes in. So Moralis, for example, offers Auth API, where you want to log someone in, it's a few lines of code. And now their wallets are connected to your backend. So that whenever someone logs in on your website, you know their wallets, you know all of their assets, and so on and so forth. And you have it in real time, so that you can get the different triggers. Let's say you want to do something whenever someone buys your NFC, or whenever someone does something in your game. You do that using the Streams API, and using the different other APIs we offer, you can fetch the data from Solana, from Elrond, from Polygon, from anywhere. And again, very simple, just a few lines of code. And what it really boils down to is to use SDKs that we provide in order to quickly access all of the features, such as Auth, Streams, NFC, Solana. Using our SDKs, it's a few lines of code to access all of that. Some practicalities, if you want to get started, whether you're a developer or a project that wants to start, you're a founder, you can go to our YouTube channel. We push videos every day, teaching how to do different things. And you can also join our Discord. Finally, if you're looking at this and you yourself are a developer or a project manager or engineering manager, and you share our vision of working together with us, you can see how we work. So we work fully remote. We are in over 40 countries, over 100 employees, and we have an open source course, which you can find at moralis.io/mbs, where you can learn how we work, what is our culture, how do we get things done, and so on and so forth. And if you want to join us, you can go to talent.moralis.io. So that was a small presentation about the metaverse, why it's important, the tech stack, how we help projects build, and also if you want to join us, you go to talent.moralis.io. Thank you very much, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.